It's been a little bit since I posted the video about my first indie paycheck, so I thought I should do another update. I've been getting a number of these emails, which is of course a major bummer. Not only are Goop Loop sales not making enough to sustain the cost of living, but most months I'm not even making enough sales to cross the minimum payment threshold. I have managed to get a couple more payments though. I've got one for $105.68 and one for $110.35. Both just barely managed to cross the $100 threshold. Sales continued to dwindle, though doubling the price from $2 to $4 helped offset that a bit. Averaging just 1 or 2 sales a day was a pretty strong indication that there was not enough interest in the game. Something interesting happened though. As a bit of an afterthought, I took the video I made for this hashtag screenshot Saturday tweet. Yeah, look, there's a sign. Why didn't you notice the sign that was there? And threw it up on TikTok with the exact same caption, and it just blew up. It got over 200,000 views in a day, and since then has climbed to over 500,000. That's 500,000 views for very little effort. Clearly there were some people out there who had an interest in it. I just had to find the right audience. One of the downsides to TikTok though is that it makes it very difficult for people to move off of the platform and buy things. So that 250,000 views that I got only translated to around 40 sales. In other words, about a 0.02% conversion rate. That or people just found the video entertaining in its own right and had no interest in buying the game. Difficult to say. If we look at the sales graphs, you can see the huge spike where I went from selling almost nothing to 40 sales in a day. What's disappointing is that even if you get a big break like this, the numbers quickly drop back down. That one video carried sales for a couple days, and I posted some subsequent videos to keep the momentum up. You can see some little spikes there. But once the algorithm drops them, the sales immediately just dry up. It has to be a constant thing, at least until you get a large enough player base to start making their own viral videos, I guess. The TikTok algorithm is kind of fascinating. It managed to find an interested audience for Goop Loop, however my Fist of the Forgotten videos always seem to cap out at 200 or 300 views. Even the less successful Goop Loop videos usually get thousands of views, though I have had a couple duds. It's kind of crazy how much small developers like myself live or die by these algorithms. Based on some very rough numbers that I came up with a while back, I estimated that I'd need around 1 million people to see Fist of the Forgotten in order to break even on development costs, which I thought was going to be very difficult. Now it looks like that visibility is actually obtainable. I've nearly reached it with 900,000 views on Goop Loop TikToks. However, it's looking like that view number may be off by a factor of about 10, as I was expecting much higher conversion rates. TikTok seems to be a bit of a blessing and a curse. High view rate, but poor sales. I feel like every bit helps though, even if it's just planting a seed. Here's a quick recap of some things that I tried that had low success rates. 1, getting Twitch streamers to play. I never got any massive streamers to play, but I did have a couple with over 100 viewers, and they seemed to have little to no influence on sales. I think I mentioned in the last video that I had one streamer who really got into it, and I thought it was a really good stream, and at the end of the day, there were 0 sales. 2 is Imager. The Imager community seems to hate things that aren't memes or reposts, so I tend to get downvoted when I post game clips. I should really post some more though. 3 would be press coverage. I've gotten a couple articles written about Goop Loop, but I haven't really noticed any notable increase in sales. 4 would be the screenshot Saturday hashtag on Twitter. Fist of the Forgotten tends to fare better on these, but I typically get fewer than 20 likes for Goop Loop tweets and no notable increase in sales. 5 is the Curator Connect. Did you know Steam had a curator system? I didn't. Until I was looking for ways to promote the game. I sent out a bunch of keys with that system, and the only review I got was from somebody that I had talked to outside of Steam. 6, contacting YouTubers. I figured YouTube had a little more staying power than Twitch, so I tracked down emails, Twitter accounts, whatever I could find to contact 50 to 100 YouTubers that had recently played Getting Over It, thinking that would be the best audience, and I got no interest. I got, nothing. I got one response, and that was that he didn't have time. As it's almost launch time, I decided to bite the bullet and take some of what little sales I made and put that toward paying somebody to contact a bunch of influencers though, so we'll see how that goes. It'll be a bit difficult to decipher what came from that versus what came from the rest of the factors surrounding a launch, which, by the way, is tomorrow. That's right, Goop Loop is rolling out of early access on July 21st. This is literally the last possible moment I could make this video before launch. And I bumped my camera. Anyway, I wanted to get the video out before launch so we could compare early access numbers to post-launch numbers, so I guess I'm going to bed late this morning. On to things that had moderate success. Number 1 would be Twitch. Almost all of my early sales came from Twitch viewers who followed me along my game dev journey, and since Most of the people who are probably watching this video are also part of that crowd. Thank you. I really appreciate your support. 2 is TikTok. I already covered that earlier, so I'm not going to go into that. And let's cover some of the things that I haven't done. 1 would be Steam sales. These can help convert a lot of wish lists and probably work best when tied with other events like launch or virtual conventions. Steam limits how often you can have these sales though, so I'm having my first sale for launch day. That's tomorrow, by the way. 2 is visibility rounds. These help promote your game on the Steam platform, but you have to use them wisely because they burn up and that's all you get. 3 is Steam festivals. I never got to try this because apparently you can't participate in Steam festivals if your game is launched, and early access counts as being launched, so I kind of got screwed out of the possibility of that with Goop Loop, but it's something to keep in mind for Fist of the Forgotten. 4 is launching out of early access. That's what I'm about to try now. Did I mention it's tomorrow? I guess the takeaway here is that if you're struggling to promote your game, just because things did or did not work for me with Goop Loop doesn't mean you'll have the same experience. Same is true for what did and didn't work for other games. The real trick is matching your content with the correct audience. You might have a great game and some great promotional videos, just posted in the wrong place. Keep trying different things. Also, if you're a full-time indie, it can be very difficult to get sales, so find any means possible to support yourself. Maybe awesome people like this will support you on your journey if you post interesting content. Seriously, thanks for the support. One other interesting tidbit that I noticed, it seems like people interested in Goop Loop have about a 50-50 shot of buying versus wishlisting the game. If you just look at these charts, they're almost identical for sales versus wish lists. I don't know if that's true for other games or not. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Well, I guess it's time to see what happens when I press that launch button.